Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. It gives me great happiness to bring to you yet another episode of the SWS Naatu series for the board examinations of 2024. आज आपके लिए है English Literature for ICSE Class 10 यानी कि Merchant of Venice and Treasure Trove में से lots of MCQs, and these are MCQs that will really test your preparation. Because if you look at this specimen paper, and in fact I would say if you look at this specimen paper which the council put out for the 9th class, it will give you an idea about the way the questions will be asked in the MCQs. They will test your recall ability, your understanding ability, your application ability, right? And your general understanding of the entire play and the poems and the stories. So these questions are meant to precisely test that कि आपकी preparation अभी तक कैसी हुई है. But before I start, I want to thank 3 students, Ramya Pradeep, Samina Fatima, and Avneet Singh Thakur, who have contributed an amount to study with Sudhir as members. And it's really not the amount that matters, it is the gesture that matters. And I, on behalf of the channel, am truly grateful and thankful to you, to your parents, for this gesture. It's indeed heartwarming and it really means the world to us. Okay, so I do believe and I give you my best wishes and blessings. And I do hope you continue to do the good work and continue to be good human beings. That's what is really important at the end of the day. Marks to aayenge, jayenge, that doesn't really matter. We all need to be good human beings. So let's get started with this particular episode of the SWS Naatu series. And if you are looking for many more such success test papers, please look up the SWS app, download the app. The link is in the description box, or you can go to studywithsudhir.com website. There you will get many more such papers on English literature from both MOV as well as Treasure Trove. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so you are able to see this on your screen. Let's start without spending any more time. Okay, और इधर-उधर की बातें नहीं होंगी. What did the children remember of the sun in their dreams? This is from All Summer in a Day. The blushing warmth of the sun like the fire on a stove, a yellow crayon large enough to paint the world, gold or yellow crayon or a coin and the warmth of the body, a gold or a yellow crayon, a penny and a blush on the cheek. The correct answer to this is what is testing your recall ability. And let me tell this to you very, very clearly. Please read the text multiple times. I've said this in the previous 2 videos also. I repeat, please read the text multiple times, because the kind of questions जो कि आपको इस टेस्ट में मिलेंगे और जो कि आपको बोर्ड एग्जाम्स में पूछे जा सकते हैं, they will really test कि कितना minutely आपने टेक्स्ट को पढ़ा है. So please read the text minutely, multiple times. Understand each and every line, because there will be questions which will test your analytical and understanding ability. So all these things will be tested. So please do not think that the MCQs are going to be a walk in the garden. It won't be. Okay, it won't be a piece of cake. So please remember that. So in this, the correct answer is C, gold or yellow crayon. It is on page 109. If you go and look up the text, the exact words, these are the exact words which have been used in the text by Ray Bradbury. Which of the following statements is not true of CBR? Now, many of these questions I've taken from the pre-board exam papers of our students. So they give you a very good idea, much better idea than any of the question banks which are available in the market, because these are pre-board papers prepared by teachers across the country. So it gives you a fantastic sense of what your competitors in other cities are being tested on, right? That's what we bring here on SWS. Which of these following statements is not true of CBR? So some of them are from pre-board papers, some of them I have made. She had long golden hair. She had to work hard from her early years. She was 12 years old. She had no money to buy glass beads at the bazaar. This is pretty simple. This is 2A. Someone said कि आप आंसर्स इधर देख रहे हैं भाई मैंने ही आंसर्स लिखे हैं I write it in one place so that when you see it like this, sometimes you get confused and I don't want to say A instead of B or C instead of D. So I write it on the side and cross check every time so that I don't get anything wrong. Please understand that ये बेकार के ताने मारना छोड़ दो अभी पढ़ने का टाइम है. Don't bother about what I do or I don't do. Focus on what you need to do or what you don't need to do. At the running broad jump trials, Jesse Owens exclaims, "Did I come 3,000 miles for this? Which of the following words best describes Jesse Owens' words? Is he feeling envious? Envious का मतलब है jealous. Is he feeling frustrated? Is he feeling confused? Or is he feeling thwarted? Thwarted का मतलब someone comes and kind of does something to defeat him. So the correct option is frustration, a sense of frustration. He's definitely not confused. According to Owens, what will any coach tell you? Now, this is a straight recall question. This one is an understanding or let's say an application question. आपको दिमाग लगाना है, analyze करके लिखना है यहाँ पर. A winning athlete will add value to his leader's theory. What will any coach tell you? A world record does not necessarily mean smooth success every time. It is best to keep your star performer under wraps until the final events, which is what Hitler did. An angry athlete will make mistakes. That is the last paragraph's first line on the left-hand side page of the textbook, right? Fourth D. Hitler's decision to keep Lust long under wraps showed what? Did it show his anti-Jew mindset, anti-black mindset, desire to surprise, or dictatorship tendency? So it did not show, even though he wanted to defeat, he wanted Lust Long to emerge victorious and thereby defeat Jesse Owens, who was black, but that did not show any anti-black mindset. He wanted to basically surprise the rivals at the Berlin Olympics in 1936. What did the Gujars store their substances? Now, this kind of things can be confusing. Okay, and that's what you need to bother about. Land and silver jewelry, bullion and land. This means gold. Okay, this means gold. Cattle and land, livestock and silver jewelry. Okay, now here, if you read the book carefully, you will realize that the correct option is 6D. Let me in fact show you from the book itself because it's important, because the word used there is not livestock, and that's why the understanding becomes so much important. So yeah. So on page 98, as per the latest textbook of Treasure Trove, right on top it says, as they scratched their foot together and stored their substance in large herds. Large herds essentially means cattle, and another word for that, and the synonym for that is livestock and silver jewelry, which is why 60. So agar aap livestock word ko hi dhoondte rahenge, to you will get confused. So large herds refers to cattle, it refers to livestock. So that's what you need to remember. So this was, I thought, an intelligent question to ask. In The Little Match Girl, the little girl was out on dash a cold dash. New Year's Day, snowy night. The day after Christmas, snowy day. The last evening of the year, snowy evening. The first day of the new year, wet evening. So this is pretty simple and straightforward. 7th C. Choose the option that lists the sequence of events in the correct order. Okay. All these sentences are taken from the textbook word by word. Okay. There is no change. So again, that's what I say. The more times you read the textbook, the better you will be at answering these kind of questions. So in what order does this take place? So please read the order carefully. I'll pause for a minute. You read the 4 things and then you try to see which one of these is actually correct. Okay. Sorry. So Joe sighed in relief. Then after supper, what happens? Then what he did while looking through the window while they were in conversation, and he entered the house noisily, and Jane hurried into the kitchen. Okay, so the correct option for this is 3142. Okay, so this happens first, then this happens, then this happens, and then this happens. Okay, 3142. In Daffodils, what does the poet compare himself to? This is a straightforward question. So we'll get a combination of these kind of questions. My sense is that at least 50% of the questions will be straightforward, 50% will be a little tricky, which will make you think at that point in time. So the ideal thing to do is to use the 15 minutes to get this out of the way. 15 मिनट में सोच लो, मेन के 2 घंटों में उस पर समय मत लगाओ. So this may, the ninth one, the correct option is 9C, a solitary cloud in the sky, the first line of the poem. What special quality, human quality, does the poem 9 Gold Medals celebrate? Does it celebrate rivalry, jealousy, empathy, selfishness? Again, pretty simple, 10th C. According to Bassanio, now let's move to MOV. According to Bassanio, what kind of rocks have wrecked his French ships? Now this will be confusing. Merchant marring, gaping wound, dreadfully touching, or greedy to confound a man. Okay, so this can be a little confusing. The correct answer is 11th A, and this is from line 268 on. So if you see what Bassanio is saying, that but is it true, Salario hath all his ventures failed? What, not one hit? From Tripolis, from Mexico and England, from Lisbon, Barbary and India, and not one vessel escaped the dreadful touch of merchant marring rocks. So this is line number 268 from Act 3, Scene 2. So you need to, as I said, read the play many times. Lorenzo feels Portia's act of kindness is customary bounty, godlike amity, a matter of pride and endurance, more than ordinary generosity. Okay, the correct option to this, now this actually was a little confusing. I discussed this with my students also. It will be more than ordinary generosity. This comes in Act 3, Scene 4. Okay, when Lorenzo and Portia are in conversation with each other. So he says that, if you read the first paragraph, godlike amity is also mentioned, customary bounty is also mentioned. But what he's trying to say, that it will need, Portia's act of kindness is more than ordinary generosity, which she is showing towards Antonio, because he's her husband, Bassanio's dear friend. Portia compares herself to Dash, Bassanio to Dash, and the attendants to Dash. Who are these three? A princess Hercules and sacrificial lambs, victims, Hesione, Hercules and Trojan women, a sacrificial victim, the savior, the monster, or is it none of the above? The correct option, it's not very difficult if you have read the text carefully, 13th B. What does Portia ask for when Bassanio steps up to take the casket test? What does Portia ask for? Does she ask for a banquet? Does she ask for music to be played? Does she ask for a garland? Or does she ask for applause? The correct option is music to be played. Recall question. What does Portia hand over to Bassanio? The husbandry and manage of her mansion and servants? This is from Act 3, Scene 2. Please remember, many of you could get confused and think we are talking about Lorenzo, right? Because of this is given to Lorenzo. So do not get confused. Always read the question carefully. A ring to protect Bassanio's life, her mansion, her servants, herself, and a ring. Her mansion, her estate, her staff, and an heirloom ring. Now, you see, these two sound very similar. So you need to be careful. The correct option is option C. Again, read the text very carefully. Act 3, Scene 2, after he has kind of chosen the correct casket, the lead casket, that's when she says this is, I'll tell you the line so that you would be, this is around line 170. Okay, Act 3, Scene 2. I mean, when I say around 170, it would be different in different textbooks. So, which is why I said around, it could be 168, 172 kind of thing. Okay. Portia, it is 170 in this particular book. Portia is willing to pay huge sums of money before Antonio loses his life. To who? To a greedy, vicious Jew with an unquiet soul through her husband's fault, and leaves her lord bereft of a friend of such a description. So, what did she say? That's important, right? If you see this, the 16th one, this is around the 300th line. That's what I've written on the side so that I don't have to spend time looking at the lines. 300th line. So she says, Portia, what no more? Pay him 6,000, Act 3, Scene 2, around line 300, and deface the bond. Double 6,000 and then treble that before a friend of this description shall lose a hair through Bassanio's fault. So in the text, Portia is saying through Bassanio's fault. Here in the MCQ, we are saying through her husband's fault. So you just, that's what, no, you just need to apply that little bit of your mind to ensure that you get the right option. Choose the right option. What does Shylock demand from Antonio? A pound of flesh, 6,000 ducats, an apology, or compassion? Straight, a pound of flesh. Portia says Bassanio's heart is empty of truth, just like his finger is devoid of the ring, just like his words add a lie to a fault, just like she has been left betrayed after swearing on his behalf, and it would have been better if he had gone to dinner with the lawyer, right? So the 18th one, the correct option is A. This is around line 195 in Act 5, Scene 1. Around line 195. So she says, sweet Portia, Bassanio says. So this is a reaction to that. So you see, that's what you need to distinguish. So what Bassanio is saying is a reaction to what Portia says, that, you know, so void is your false heart of truth. Okay. And that is a reaction to what Bassanio says before. So that's what you need to know. It's a little before line 195, not 195. How does Lorenzo recognize Portia even before he sees her when the two young women return from Venice? By the clothes she wears, by the sound of her voice, by the perfume she wears, or by her touch? This is pretty simple. 19th B, by the sound of her voice. 20th one. What does Portia mean when she tells Bassanio, I am locked in one of them? That she's locked in a cell and unable to escape, that she was a prisoner in her father's home? No, that her portrait lay hidden in one of the caskets, and that she was bound firmly by her promise to her father. This is 20C. Why does a quarrel break out between Nerissa and Graciano in the final act, Act 5, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice? Because Graciano admits that he had given away the ring which Nerissa had given to him. Nerissa admits that she had accompanied Portia to Venice disguised as the lawyer's clerk. Gracia is annoyed with Nerissa for giving away his ring to a stranger in Venice. This is obviously not true. Nerissa is angry with Graciano for leaving for Venice on the very day they were married. This is also not true. So the 21A option is the correct option. There are some shrewd contents in yon same paper. What does the paper in this extract refer to? Please remember what I said right at the beginning. You need to know the meaning of every line and every word, preferably, because these kind of questions can come. What does the paper refer to? So the correct answer is D, Antonio's letter to Bassanio, because that's what he sends towards the second half of the Act 3, Scene 2, the casket scene. The lead casket scene. Bassanio casket scene. What had the little match girls, now let's come back to treasure trove. What had the little match girl's grandmother told her about the falling stars? When a star falls, a soul goes up to heaven. And that's what it, I mean, we don't even need to know because this is exactly the line which is there in the text, but always go by the process of elimination. It will help you ensure that you don't make any mistake. Which of the following lines contains the same literary device as the one in Wordsworth's Daffodils? 10,000 saw I at a glance. 100 years. So this is a case of a hyperbole, right? 10,000. Okay. So this is a case of a hyperbole. So of all these ones, 24A is the one which is the closest, because here also talking about 100 years should go to praise, again a case of a hyperbole which has been used in some other poem. The fickle mindedness of his followers made the central character in Robert Browning's poem The Patriot feel ambitious, disillusioned, bitter, and optimistic. So he did not feel ambitious because of the fickle mindedness. He did not feel optimistic also because of the fickle mindedness. He felt bitter and disillusioned. So 2 and 3 is the correct option. So 25B is the right option. Select the option that shows the correct relationship between statements 1 and 2 from all summer in a day. These kind of questions will also come. One day, while in the school shower room, Margaret had clutched her hands to her ears and covered her head, screaming and refusing to let her water touch her. Margaret realized that she was different from the others and that the children knew this difference, and stayed away. 1 is the cause of 2. Now, in always these kind of questions, to ensure to find out the reason, use because. So 1 is the cause of 2. Okay. So Margaret realized that she was different from the others because one day while she was in the school shower room, she had clutched it. So that's why 26A is the correct one. 1 is the cause for 2. Okay. So if you use, the best way to do it is to test by putting a because, okay, and trying to see whether it works very well. Here it is, we are talking about the cause. What was above Ben Adam doing when the angel appeared in his room one night? What was he doing? Was he writing? No, that was the angel. Was he sleeping soundly? Was he walking in the moonlight? No, he was not. Was he asking a question? No. When the angel appeared, he was sleeping soundly. On first seeing Maggie, what did Mrs. Thompson call her? Recall value, recall value, recall value. Please read it multiple times so that आपको हर शब्द याद रहे. Sick brat, the whole thing, poor sick one, poor thing. The correct option is sick brat. That's what she says as soon as she sees Maggie being carried by her husband, Mr. Thompson. Where does the caged bird stand? On the hill, between bars, in the shadow of a nightmare scream, on the grave of dreams. Now, this is a straight question from the poem itself, standing on the grave of dreams. So that's what is being asked to you. What is the caged bird in Maya Angelou's poem? I know why the caged bird sing blinded by. Her narrow cage, her rage. Now, again, this is a straight question directly from what is there in the poem itself. So, 30th B. Who stumbled and staggered? The oldest athlete? No. The person who fired the pistol? Most certainly not. The youngest athlete or all the 9 athletes? So, the youngest athlete. What expression did the angel have on its face? A soft, cheerful look, pure, radiant, smiling joy, a sweet look of harmony, or a furrow on the brow. So, the 32nd C is the right option, a sweet look of harmony. What could say more than words ever will? The banner above and the 9 smiles, the modern day ballad composed by the poet, the action of the 8 athletes and their smiles, the spirit of Olympics and its empathy. Again, it's taken directly from the text, the banner above and the 9 smiles. If Margaret had not been locked in the closet, she would have been scared to go outside, happy to see the sun, uncaring about the sun, or telling her parents to stay back on Venus. Now, this is an analysis or an application kind of question. So you assume that she would have been happy to see the sun because that's something which was a major desire as far as Margaret was concerned. Select the option that shows the correct relationship between statements 1 and 2 from an angel in disguise. But no one said, I will take Maggie. Who wanted a bedridden child? 1 is the cause for 2. Now, what did I tell you before? Put because here. Okay. Okay, that shows the correct. Who wanted a bed? No one said Maggie, that I will take Maggie because who wanted a bedridden child. Okay, who wanted, actually this should not be this one. 35th, this should be B. 2 is the cause of 1. है ना? That, no, sorry, A only. Sorry. The A, I mean, 1 is the cause for 2. Because of this, they say that who wanted a bedridden child. Let me think again. Yeah, मेरे को confusion हो रहा है. But no one said, I will take Maggie. Because who wanted a bedridden child, right? Yeah, so 1 is the cause for 2. Correct. 1 is the cause for 2. Correct. See, it gets confusing with this word like cause. How did Ben Adam speak to the angel? With humility, rudely, proudly, in a holy way. This is simple. With humility. It was bitterly cold. Snow was falling. Darkness was gathering. For everyone was in their cozy home. For it was the last evening of the old year. For it was a New Year day. For it was Christmas. Correct answer is B. 38th padho. Sibia had divided her meal, a chapati wrapped in around a smear of green chili and rancid butter. Rancid ka matlab malum hai na, something which is going kharab ho raha hai, it is kind of getting spoiled. Somehow to push it down her throat, make it seem more relish every bit of it, pass the time in eating it. Again, this is something which you need to read it many times, so which is why it is 38B. All building up to the games, what does it mean? The construction of the stadium, the anticipation among the spectators, the anticipation for the last race, or is it in the run-up to the Special Olympics, right? So all building up to the games is not for the last race. It is for the preparation for the games. So it is in the run-up to the Special Olympics. This kind of a question, building up to the games, you could get confused and write something like this. But the correct answer is this. If you read the text, the last line of the first stanza, that's what you need to read. In triumphs, people have dropped down dead. This symbolizes hope and faith, rise and fall in glory. Public is fickle-minded, and faith in God. The correct answer, in triumphs, people have fallen. So it shows, someone who has gone up in life, falling down dead. So it is rise and fall in glory. In the poem, now this one is a tricky one. In the poem, I know why the caged bird sings. The first stanza is meant to show. It's not saying the first stanza says or first stanza shows. It says it is meant to show. So, har word ko dhyan se padho, please. The caged bird's feeling of despair and hopelessness, the thrill of being the first stanza, if you recall, it's about the free bird. So what you will see it, you will immediately think the beauty of the orange dresses. No, it will not be. So you will think it is C. No, if you see, this is how it is to be interpreted. It is meant to show. It is meant to show the thrill of being free to live your life as you pleases. It's not saying what is being said straight away. It's saying what it is meant to show. So please read the questions very carefully. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle in the Milky Way. What comparison is drawn by Wordsworth here, right? 42nd one, a large number of daffodils are compared with the continuity of the stars. Daffodils are swaying their heads. That's not what it is being conveyed. They are beautiful. We are not talking about the beauty. They are not talking about the margin of the bay. The 42nd A. Joe Thompson said, women's hearts are sometimes very hard. He said this because the women refused to change Maggie's soiled clothes. They did that. They refused to get food. No, that's not true. Had no respect for the dead mother. No, they actually did not say much. They actually did a lot for the children, even though they did not particularly like the mother when she was alive, because the women left Maggie alone in the hut. Therefore, he says women's hearts are sometimes very hard. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word. What word is being referred to out here? Barabbas, Abraham, Daniel, or Moses? This is from MOV, the trial scene. The correct answer is C, Daniel. When Tubal says, I often came where I did hear of her but cannot find her. Shylock is upset because his daughter fled with a Christian and he hates Christians. His 2,000 worth diamond and other precious jewels are gone. His daughter fled with Antonio's friend. His daughter betrayed him. The correct answer is 45 B, if you see Act 3, Scene 1, that's where you will find this particular line. Who reads a letter from Bellario in the court? Clerk, Nerissa, Duke, or it is Portia? 46th, the correct option is A. The clerk is the one who reads out the letter. Every night, Troilus would mount the Trojan walls to see Cressida, Thisbe, Dido, or Medea. Now, many people keep saying, "अरे इतने सारे stories याद करने पड़ेंगे." 4 stories हैं यार. मेन कैरेक्टर्स के नाम लिख के बेसिकली उस स्टोरी का जस्ट एक लाइन या 1.5 या 2 लाइन में लिख लो. आपको खुद के लाइन में लैंग्वेज में लिखो ताकि आपको समझने में और रिटेन करने में आसानी हो. दैट्स हाउ यू नीड टू do this so that you will remember this, because if you get these kind of options, all of them referring to different characters, you could get confused. 47A. Portia entrusted the task of visit to Padua to Balthasar because he is honest, young, honest, agile, trustworthy. So you need to pick up the options which are correct in this. So the correct option is 48C, honest and trustworthy. Again, if you read the text, you will recall what exactly it is. If you read Act 3, Scene 4, that's where it comes. Act 3, Scene 4, here it says, now Balthasar, as I have ever found thee honest, true, which means honest and trustworthy. They shall think we are accomplished with that we lack. What does Portia mean to say here? Portia and Nerissa are equipped with the qualities of men, which in reality they lack. Or is it talking about their intelligence and smart wit? Or are they talking about the love for their husbands and their trust? Or are they talking about the loyalty to their husbands? What is it? The correct option is 49A. What important character trait of Bassanio helps him choose the right casket? The last question, his dislike for gold and silver, his love for lead, his ability to look beyond outward appearances, and his honesty and integrity. This is basically an understanding question. So 50th C. Please let me know how many did you manage to get right. I hope this trained your mind in actually how to. Now when you go back to read Treasure Trove's poems and stories and a movie, please ensure that you're reading it keeping these kind of questions in mind. That is, you need to think about the recall questions, the application questions, the understanding questions, and the analysis questions, right? You need to, I write it here so that you will remember this. The recall questions, the analysis questions, the understanding questions, and the application questions. So all these kind of questions can come. Okay, इसको अच्छा मैं बताता हूं इसको कैसे याद करेंगे. मल में AURA. You need to have the aura in order to be able to get all the MCQs right. You need to know the application, you need to have the understanding, you need to have the recall, and you need to be able to analyze it. Okay, so if you have the aura, and I'm sure all SWS students have the aura. Aura ka matlab ek tej. You need to have the tej in order to be able to crack all these MCQs. So have the aura, and I'm sure you will come out a winner. Thank you very much for watching. Share the video, subscribe to the channel, because there is going to be a lot coming up as part of the SWS Naatu series for the board examinations of 2024. Tata.